7 to 15. It's a car to set, nigga. You know the vibes, nigga. We do this shit. Ooh, don't run out of time, don't run out of time, don't run out of time. I got to get on my grind, she got to make up her mind. I gotta pray, cause without God, how could I shine? Stereotype committing a crime. I know the heathen better fall in line. Better get racks up for the dollar crash, cause he always giving a sign. Promise to the Wonder Woman, yes, she treat me right, so she always stay on my mind. Start without fit, you leading the blind. Keeping the law, don't fall with the swine. Right the bell arms and it's on my side, so corridor set, we built to survive. Like, ooh, don't run out of time, don't run out of time, don't run out of time. I got to get on my grind, she got to make up her mind. I gotta pray, cause without God, how could I shine? Stereotype committing a crime. I know the heathen better fall in line. Better get racks up for the dollar crash, cause he always giving a sign. Promise to the Wonder Woman, yes, she treat me right, so she always stay on my mind. Start without faith, you leading the blind. Keeping the law, don't fall with the swine. Right the bell arms and it's on my side, so corridor set, we built to survive. Like, these niggas be talking. Biblical smoker had a heathen coffin. Claiming they know the Bible, but be scoffing. Hearing the gospel, leave him in a coffin. Living in water just like I'm a dolphin. Preaching the word could never be softened. Spinning the block, I never be parking. Reading the scripture, you know that I'm stalking. Do what you do, bringing it out with my brother the truth. See me with fringes a ribbon of blue. Stepping on heat is really nothing new. Niggas be tripping, I'm tying my shoe. Scriptures be cooking like they in stew. Catch me at camps, a car with the crew. Beating the case, nobody could sue. Like, do. My brother in danger, you know I'ma shoot. John 15:13, the truth. Later my life, I know he would too. See me be tough, it's stuck like some glue. Chloe the sister, she my laboo. Better repent before it's too late. Cause if you don't, you gon' be doomed. Like, ooh, don't run out of time, don't run out of time, don't run out of time. I got to get on my grind, she got to make up her mind. I gotta pray, cause without God, how could I shine? Stereotype committing a crime. I know the heathen better fall in line. Better get racks up for the dollar crash, cause he always giving a sign. Promise to the Wonder Woman, yes, she treat me right, so she always stay on my mind. Start without faith, you leading the blind. Keeping the law, don't fall with the swine. Right the bell arms and it's on my side, so corridor set, we built to survive. Like,
these niggas be tripping. Watching Sakari camp, but ain't listening. Trying to get the laws down, that's the mission. Trying to stop everybody from they sinning. Like, spiritual battle. Baba got hands like it's Canelo. Leave your brain looking like Jello. Precept slapping you while saying hell no, hell no, hell no. Message to you, you better get right before the time is through, or your Hawashai will come through, have you looking like missing food. Trust me, that shit is real. I'm tired of my people out here getting killed. All y'all heathens gonna get drilled. Esau, you going in the grill. Believe that. Spitting these facts while putting Space City on the map. Got these haters all on our back, but with God we can handle that. Handle that. Trust and believe. Time is almost up for us to leave. Keep your faith and just believe. Work and faith is all you need.
ooh, don't run out of time, don't run out of time, don't run out of time. I got to get on my grind, she got to make up her mind. I gotta pray, cause without God, how could I shine? Stereotype committing a crime. I know the heathen better fall in line. Better get racks up for the dollar crash, cause he always giving a sign. Promise to the Wonder Woman, yes, she treat me right, so she always stay on my mind. Start without faith, you leading the blind. Keeping the law, don't fall with the swine. Right the bell arms and it's on my side, so corridor set, we built to survive. Like, ooh, don't run out of time, don't run out of time, don't run out of time.
Con. Mic check. Can you hear me?
Con.
All praises. Go ahead and get started, man. We'll give all glory, honor, and praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, and we do so in the name of His begotten Son, Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Was indeed a black man. All right. All praises, man. All praises. We back on Wednesdays, man, with the classes, man. Officer Dawa Allah, War Dog Azan. Y'all know how it is, man. We got the powerful Officer Zachariah. He gonna join a little bit later on. So yeah, man. So we're gonna go ahead, get started. He'll hop on, man. Y'all see the title, right? Christ kept the Passover. So why don't you? Right? So our Passover here at Sakari, we are 1 month away, 4 weeks away, man, from observing the Lord's Passover, man. All praises to the Most High, right? So we gonna have like a little Passover series leading up to us going to Atlanta, man, and just observing the high holy day, man, the highest high holy day, right? We're gonna observe it, and in the meanwhile, we're gonna push out lessons that's more geared towards the Passover since we're entering into this season, right? And so the first lesson, the first stop is just simply, man, hey, what is the Passover? What is it? When is it? How do we keep it? Right? Because Christ did this. Christ kept the Lord's Passover, man. And if he kept the Lord's Passover and we are supposed to walk even as he walked, right? Then why aren't our people observing the Passover today? Right? So we can go ahead and get started. Azan, we're gonna go ahead and just go to Exodus 12, man. We're gonna go
Con.
to the first time we see the Passover so that we can understand what it is historically, what was going on, why is it an important today in 2000, so-called 2024, right? As they say. So let's go ahead and start. Let me share my screen. All right. Exodus chapter 12.
Con.
Whenever you're ready.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It says, And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
I see hold on, let me add Zechariah on here. Shalom, Zechariah.
Shalom, slacking. I'm late.
Nah, you good. We just started, literally.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but like I told the audience and everybody, man, we just going through the Passover, with us being a month out from us going to Atlanta and observing the Passover, man. It's pretty much what we're gonna be talking about for the next couple of weeks. So the first is exactly what is the Passover, what happened during the Passover, when do we keep the Passover, and how do we keep it, right? So right now, man, we just in Exodus. So you got anything, as always, man, bring your points up. You on mute?
Yeah, I said for to hit the bathroom real quick, but I'm on.
Oh, for sure. All right, go ahead, Zon.
Con. It says, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
So first, the Passover is always it's in the first month of the Hebrew calendar year, right? So they go, or what we went off of back, especially during the time in the wilderness, we went off a lunar calendar. So the Passover is in the first month of that calendar year, right? And we'll get the name of it a little bit later on as we go. But go ahead, Azan, continue.
It says, verse 3, Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
Right, and this is in preparations of the Passover, right? And like, mind you, it says the congregation of Israel. So the Passover is not a everybody inclusive event, man. No, this Passover is specific to the children of Israel. And as we go through this chapter, you're gonna see why, right? But first things first, man, the Most High commanded us on the 10th day to go out and to get a lamb. And it's gonna get more specific into this lamb, but the lamb we were supposed to get is a lamb without spot and a lamb without blemish. Right. So go ahead.
Verse 4, And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
Right. So and the point in this was everybody was supposed to have enough lamb. If you had too much, hey, you were supposed to give it to somebody. If you had too little, hey man, you were supposed to go to your neighbor and ask, hey, do you have something to spare? That's how important this lamb was. This Passover lamb was for us to eat at this solemn feast day. Right. So keep on.
Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
Right. And then, as I mentioned before, and we're going to explore these topics more as we get closer to Passover, but just to give y'all like a spoiler warning, right? This lamb here is supposed to represent Christ. It's supposed to represent the Davidic Messiah that is to come, right? So keep on.
Gone. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Right. So the commandment was to take this lamb at day 10, right? Take it, nurture it, and then by the 14th day is whenever the whole assembly of Israel is supposed to kill their lambs to be in the process of eating it or partaking it. Right. Keep on.
And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door of the houses wherein they shall eat it.
Keep on.
And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Right. So this is the first Passover. So the first Passover, what we had to do, we had to take the lamb and not only kill it and roast it, but we had to take the blood of the lamb and we had to put it in our doorposts. And the reason why we had to do that was so that the death angel that was passing in Egypt would pass over our house, right? And if it passed over us, that means that death angel didn't enter in our house to kill our firstborn as it did with the other Egyptians, right? So here we have it. They're eating it at night. They have to roast it with fire. They have to eat it with unleavened bread, and they have to eat it with bitter herbs. So in today's time, we eat it in similar fashion. We eat that lamb in haste. We eat it in the evening when the day turns to night. We roast it with fire. We eat it with our unleavened bread, right? We do all these things in rehearsal of what our ancestors once did in the past, right? So keep reading.
Verse 9. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with pertinence thereof.
Keep on.
It says, and ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire.
So everything that we didn't eat when it came to that lamb, and we were supposed to gather it all together and then burn it up in fire once the morning came. Right? Keep on.
And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes off your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
And this is the Lord's Passover, right? When we take that lamb and we kill it and eat it in the 14th day of the first month. And we eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs, man. The whole congregation of Israel. And then we burn it come the next morning, anything that's left over. This is the Lord's Passover, right? Now, as we read on, now you're about to see the story that comes behind the Passover. The Passover isn't just a feast day, right? It's not just a like a new moon or anything like that. No, there's actual historical weight to this thing. There's a story that happened, the whole reason why the Passover came about. So let's read on to see what was going on during this time, right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt will I execute judgment. I am the Lord.
So again, this is why we had to have that Passover. The Most High said he is going to smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. It didn't matter if you was a man, didn't matter if you was a dog, didn't matter if you was a cattle. If you was the firstborn, hey, the Most High, you got put to death in the land of Egypt. The only people who wasn't put to death were those who were obedient and had that true faith to partake in the Lord's Passover. That's why this event is so important. It's so important because this was the last plague that the Most High sent upon Egypt. The last one. And the last one, hey, he did a lot of killing, man. He executed a lot of judgment. But to those who was his obedient servant, hey, man, they got spared. So in like fashion, this is what we have to do now in Babylon, in America. We have to be obedient and we have to have faith in God, just like our ancestors did in the first Passover. And what was their reward? They were spared. They were spared when the land of Egypt was trodden down, when it was smitten with death all over the place. Right? So whenever you partake in the Passover that's coming up, these are the things you got to remember. These are the things that you got to remind yourself, right? You got to remind yourself that as long as you put trust in your God, man, in Yahweh, hey, everything gonna be all right. Just like it was with our ancestors who were obedient, who ate the Passover and put the blood on their doorposts. Right? So keep on reading out.
Verse 13, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt.
Keep reading.
And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. And ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
For what?
Forever.
Hey, man, this is in the laws of God. The Most High is saying this feast right here, this Passover feast, you have to keep throughout your generations. You have to keep it throughout your generations, and it's an ordinance. It's a command forever, man. Not just for that time, not just for the time of King David, not just the time of antiquity. Hey, right now in 2024, you shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever, man. Forever. Forever ain't over. Meaning we still have to keep this feast. Right? Keep on.
Come on. Verse 15, 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Right. So now another thing you have to do is you have to eat unleavened bread. That's why the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, they go hand in hand, right? Because on the first day of this feast, which is the Passover, you have to partake in eating unleavened bread. And you have to put all the leaven out of your house. And then for 7 days after that, you have to eat unleavened bread. So that's what we do today in 2024, right? We get a lamb. Now, obviously, you know, our lamb isn't going to be as pure as it was back in the day. You know, unless you raising your own lamb, that lamb is gonna have some issues and it's gonna have some problems. All right, I'm just be real. But this is, and we're gonna get more scriptures to back this up. But this is us rehearsing these acts, man. This is us putting that step forward to show the Most High, no, we are obedient to your word to the best of our ability, with all our might and all our soul, as Christ said, right? And part of that is observing this feast of the Passover, observing the feast of the unleavened bread, eating unleavened bread for 7 days, man, from the 14th day to the 21st day. You eating unleavened bread every single day. That's what goes into you rehearsing these righteous acts, right? And then all praises that we have Christ now, because back in the day, man, if you didn't do this feast, you was cut off from the people. This is what the law says. The law says you ought to be cut off from the people. That's how important this feast was, right? And that's also why it's so important that we have Christ now, because let me tell you, man, I started keeping the Passover maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So I had over 2 decades where I didn't even do the Passover, man. Like a lot of y'all that's watching this, y'all had a time in your life where you didn't partake in the Lord's Passover. You're supposed to be cut off. But through Christ now, hey man, we are redeemed back unto the Father to where we can do these things that he commanded us. We can now partake in the Lord's Passover. And it's a beautiful sight. It's a beautiful thing. Right? So people who say, you ain't supposed to be keeping the feast days, man, I don't know what y'all talking about. Right? Go ahead, Azan.
Slaki, I was just gonna add,
Yeah.
Like Officer Yakov say, plays mess up. So like we brought out in the scripture, it might be a time where you might slip up. Lord willing, it doesn't happen, right? But Lord willing, we got that grace like you going into. If we happen to eat leavened bread, we slip up, hey man, now we have that that grace, Lord willing, in the form of Christ.
Con. Good point.
Con. Verse 16, it says, and in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
So in this feast, you got the first day of the feast and the last day of the feast. You can't do any work. It's a Shabbat. You don't do no work. You you rest. You have a holy convocation, meaning you go and you fellowship with your family. You go and you fellowship with your brothers, man. That's what this is all about. Us being one cohesive family, 12 tribes that make up one nation, 12 nations that make up one larger nation. That's what this is about, right? Keep reading.
Con. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this self same day I have brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever.
Hey, and there it is again. We have to observe this by an ordinance forever. Why? Because the Most High rescued us out of slavery. He rescued us out of bondage. He said, I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. That's why this has to be in remembrance, because he took all 12 tribes, the entire nation of Israel. He took us out of a place that subjugated us, out of a place that disregarded us, a place that had us as the lower tier citizens, a place that had us in rigor, right? And all these things should sound familiar because here we are today in a similar conditions. This is why we have to call to mind what happened in the past, because it's the same thing that's going on now in the present. Keep reading that.
Con. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even.
Mm-hmm.
7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land.
Right. And don't get hung up on the strangers here. We're gonna look at it even more in depth, right? But the stranger here is not talking about a heathen. Here we go. It says stranger. No, it's talking about a sojourner or a foreigner, right? Somebody. If I'm in where the Judites stay and where the Judites live, but I'm a Gadite, right? I'm a stranger to these Judites. These Judites don't know me like that, right? But even though I'm here in the land of Judah, in the land of the Judites, hey, I have to do the exact same thing that they're doing. Hey, it's the Passover time. Hey, what is your house? Hey, I'm with you right now, right? That's what it means when it says, hey man, even that soul will be cut off, whether it be stranger or born in the land, because even if that foreigner comes into your house and he's not eating the Passover with you, or he's eating some leaven in your house, guess what? Hey man, he had to be cut off. All right, keep reading.
Verse 20, ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. It says, then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover.
Mm-hmm.
It says,
go to you're gonna read down to verse 36.
Verse 22. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It says, for the Lord Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come unto your houses to smite you.
And once again, man, this is when you really analyze the Passover and what was going on in Egypt, it mirrors today. It mirrors today. And like I said, I know I keep saying I'm kind of jumping the gun, but it's all hinging on your faith. It all hinging on your faith. If you don't believe in the Most High, if you don't believe the Most High's words, especially if you was an Israelite listening to everything Moses is talking about, if you don't believe it, guess what? You're not putting blood on your doorposts. That's weird when you think about it. You just killed an animal and put it on the posts of your door. Wow. But these Israelites, man, they had to have the faith to do that. They had to have the faith to eat that Passover. And what was their reward? The destroyer did not enter into their house. It's the same today. Your reward for your faith in the Most High, for your faith in Christ, for your faith in his word and these scriptures, that is what's going to prevent the destroyer coming into your house. That is you being obedient, man. Not you trying to cut an Israelite, or you trying to one up, brothers that are half your age because they know the Bible more than you. No. What you need to do, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you need to pick up this book and you need to live it. And what's part of you living this book? Keeping the Passover, so that the destroyer doesn't come to you and destroy your house, man. He doesn't have to physically kill you. He can mess up your financial situation. He can put an illness upon you and your family. He can cause you to really go through the ringer, man. So why even go through all that when you can avoid it just by being obedient unto God? Just like these Israelites was when they participated in the Passover. This is what we have to constantly remind ourselves when we get into this time frame. It's Passover season, man. This is the season where your faith has to be 100% on point. Can you read not?
Verse 24, and ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
And not only you, but your children. And this is what we messed up, right? It ain't all our fault. It's the goddamn devil's fault. Y'all know who he is, right? But this is what we were supposed to teach our children. We were supposed to teach our children the Passover. We were supposed to teach our children about all of them Hamites that got killed, all them Egyptians that got killed because they oppressed our people, man. We were supposed to pass this down for generations and generations, but there was a gap. There was a gap to where we didn't know anything about that. But now, all praises to the Most High. Hey, man, we're coming back to our heritage. We're coming back to actually keeping the Passover and teaching our sons so they can teach their sons. And hopefully they ain't got a lot of teaching to do because, hey, we're going to be up out of here, Lord willing. But in that event, hey, our sons are going to know about this thing so that they can observe the Passover and they can teach their sons all the wonderful things the Most High did to rescue us out of Egypt. Can you read now?
Verse 25, and it shall come to pass, when ye be come to the land, which the Lord Yahweh will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service?
So for all of you, especially you guys that are new in this faith, right? That's new, learning you're an Israelite, especially, if y'all have children or kids, when you come to this season of Passover, right? If you keep it with us in a month from now, or if you keep it two months from now, however, right? As long as you keep it. When you keep it, these are the things you have to tell your children. When they ask you, mommy, what's the Passover? Daddy, why we got to eat the lamb? Daddy, we got to eat that bitter herb? Why are we doing all this, right? The Bible says this is what you should tell your children in them days. Go ahead, I read.
That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed their head and worshiped.
So that's the point, man. He delivered us. He delivered us, man. He delivered us out of captivity. Our first time in captivity, our first major captivity, all 12 tribes, the Most High delivered us with a mighty hand. He spoiled these Egyptians, man. He killed them. He said, teach this to your children how I killed them Egyptians for you. But people want to say God is all love. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is the God that wants our children to know how he personally dealt with the Egyptians. Come on. Because of the love he has for Israel. Can you read not?
God. It says, and the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord Yahweh commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they.
God.
It says, verse 29, and it came to pass that at midnight the Lord Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle.
Everything that was the firstborn in Egypt, it died. Because the Most High, that's what he wanted to happen. As a judgment on a punishment for the Egyptians having his anointed in captivity, man. Having his chosen in captivity. It's powerful, man. Keep reading.
And Pharaoh rose up in the night he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead.
All praise to the Most High, man. Them Hamites got death. Keep reading.
Verse 31, and he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go. Serve the Lord as ye have said.
Mm-hmm.
Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also.
Gone.
Verse 33, and the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we be all dead men.
Hey, man. Hey, they wanted us gone. They didn't want us in there no more. Because you got to remember, man, Egypt got hit with plagues. Before the firstborn died, Egypt was getting messed up. So here it is. Everybody knows what's going on in Egypt is these Israelites' fault. And now every Egyptian had at least one person dead in their house, man. They say, hey, y'all gotta go. Right? Y'all gotta leave or we all gonna be dead. Keep reading.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their netting trucks, being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders.
Y'all know, especially them old movies where like a little boy or something, he will run away from home and he got like the stick with like the little cloth tied up with all his belongings. That's how it was. That's how it was with us leaving, man. We just had to grab what we could and we had to go. Right? Keep reading.
And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
Hey, man, and when you actually go into it, hey, man, we ransomed them. We just started taking what we could. Like, yeah, let me hold that. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's some nice earrings right there. Let me hold that. That's a nice sword. Yeah, let me get that off you too, right? We were spoiled. We were taking everything the Egyptians had when we left, man.
Hey, Slocky, when you watch these movies like the Ten Commandments and everything, they leave this part out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Why would they? Why would they put that part in there, man? Like we literally like the Grove sisters, like, yeah, let me have that. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. And we out. But it shows you how terrified they was of us, man. And in like fashion, hey, the people where we are today, they're gonna be just as scared of us. As the times get closer and closer, they're gonna realize, oh, they're the reason why all this is happening. Just like back in the old Egypt. They're gonna realize that, man. They're gonna have that fear on them whenever we start waking up to who we are. Right?
Okay. It says, and the Lord Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians.
Hey, they spoiled. Matter of fact, let's go into that. I'm curious. I'm curious. Spoiled. Let's look at the word spoiled. Right? Deliver, recover, escape, at all, take out, to snatch away, to tear oneself away, to be torn out or away, to strip off, spoil, to deliver, to be plucked out, right? To snatch away, whether in a good or a bad sense. So before we left, man, hey, we were just taking away everything the Egyptians could throw at us, man. Let me have that, right? Keep reading that. Well, that's about it. Now jump to, because we're gonna deal with who can actually participate in the Passover, right? So jump to verse 43.
Come on. Verse 43. And
Yeah,
the
go to
Lord
40.
said, verse 43.
Yeah, 43.
43.
It says, Exodus 12, verse 43. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Hey, so the stranger can't eat of the Passover, right? Now let's go into this word stranger. Right now, is this the same stranger I spoke about before? Let's see. No stranger. Here it is. H 5236. Nakar.
Strong's H 5236. Nechar. Nechar.
Right? And what is this? Foreign, alien, right? A foreigner, alien, strange or stranger, heathendom. So this is a heathen, man. No stranger, no heathen, no non-Israelite can eat of this Passover. It's not for them. The Passover isn't for the heathen, right? So when we go back, and that's how you know this stranger isn't talking about an Israelite stranger, because before, and you're gonna see a little bit later, hey, it says, hey, whether he be a stranger or not, he has to eat this Passover. But here in verse 43, it says no stranger can eat thereof. But that is Nakar. Whenever you see Nakar in the scriptures, that is exclusively talking about the heathen. An Israelite is never in the Bible, and I dare somebody to find it. An Israelite is never in the Bible referred to as Nakar, right? So that's how we know that the heathens, non-Israelites, they cannot partake in the Passover. Right? Keep on out, keep reading.
Verse 44, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
And that's another requirement of the Passover. One of the requirements of the Passover is that you have to be circumcised. You got to be snipped, right? If you are not circumcised, you cannot eat of the Lord's Passover. You can't. It's against the law. All right, keep reading that.
A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof.
Mm-hmm.
In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
Right, and that's a lot of meat on that right there. We're gonna get to that in probably the next class, the next Passover class. But that's this scripture right here, verse 46, is extremely important because it points to Christ, man. But we're gonna break that down another time. Right, keep reading.
Come. It says, all the congregation of Israel shall keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
So no uncircumcised person can eat this Passover, right? But here's the stranger again. Now wait a minute, right? In verse 43, it says, no stranger shall eat thereof. But here we are in verse 48, and it says, when a stranger shall sojourn with you. So what's going on? Let's look at this word stranger, right? Let's look at this word stranger.
Just
right?
say bird, right?
Yep, it's R.
Yeah.
H1616. It's not Nakar like we just saw. It's a different word for stranger here in the Hebrew, right? Play this.
Strong's H 1616. Gar.
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 Now
And
let's
the
see
form just below that, Geir.
the hell.
Geir.
Hey, it's like when you looked it up,
Yeah,
go,
what's
to
up,
go to the Hebrew lexicon.
Mm-hmm.
Go down some more. It's gonna be under there, right? Go down some more. The Hebrew. Go down.
Yeah, I gotta show.
Down some more. No, it's the next. It's gonna be the next tab.
Hold on, I know where to get it. So you looking at the one in Exodus 12?
Yeah, but it's telling you the foreign living outside his own country.
Right. This is 48. Where is that? Here it is. Well, this is 12 and 19. And this is usually of Israel. Yep.
Yeah.
Dwellers in Israel with certain conceded, non-inherited rights. Yeah, this is an Israelite foreigner. That's what this is talking about. Even so, if you've been, you went to a distant land, you got something going on, or you're just unfamiliar to the people, and yet you're still in Israelite, you're considered a stranger, and that stranger has to be circumcised to eat the Passover. But the other stranger in the car, which was a heathen, it flat out said, "Hey, they cannot eat. No matter they're circumcised or not, they can't eat at the Passover." Man. All right, so that was a good one, Zechariah. I never looked at the lexicon for that.
Yeah, let's go. I'm looking at it now. It says sojourner, stranger, foreigner, a person living out of his own country. So it's going to be somebody that's not living in their own country. So it's similar to like how we in Sequoia, we go to Atlanta every year for Passover, we would be considered strangers, but no, we're circumcised, we're just foreigners. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Yeah, that's a great point. Us going to Atlanta, we're strangers in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And yet, hey, we have to be circumcised to eat this Passover. Right, right. So Zon, go ahead, finish it out.
Verse 49 says, "One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you."
And we just talked about the stranger, right? It's the same law. So the one that's homeborn, you got to be circumcised, and the stranger that's subjoining with you, he has to be circumcised, and all y'all got to follow the ordinances of the Passover. Right? Keep reading.
Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Lord Yahweh commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord Yahweh did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
And that's the whole point, man. That's the story of the Passover. The story of the Passover is that the Most High commanded us to take a lamb, to kill it, to put the blood on the door, to eat of it. And then what was going on in Egypt at the exact same time, the death angel was rolling about, killing all the firstborn, be it human or animal. It didn't matter. But the Lord spared those who was obedient, and immediately after that, we was let go. We was let free. That's the story of the Passover. That's what we commemorate forever throughout all our generations, and what we got to tell our children. Right now, when do we celebrate it, or when do we observe it? Right, Azan, give me Exodus 13 and 6. And then Zechariah, if you can hold Deuteronomy 16 and 1 for me, we're gonna get that too. Right. So go ahead.
Exodus 13 verse 6 says, 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the 7th day shall be a feast to the Lord.
Right, and we know this is we talking about the Passover here, the feast of unleavened bread. Keep reading.
Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters.
Keep on.
It says, verse 8, and thou shalt shew thy son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which the Lord did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt.
And notice how important it is that your son has to know about this. Your children has to know about this. Over and over again, the Most High wants you to make sure that you tell your sons and your daughters why we have to observe this day. Right? Keep on.
It says, and it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath the Lord Yahweh brought thee out of Egypt.
Hey, because the Most High, he wants his law to be in our minds, man. He wants us to meditate on his law day and night. That's why he took us out of Egypt, man, so that we can serve him properly. And this is why he's going to take us out of America now. Why? So we can serve him properly, man, and be his people, and he be our God. But here's the point in verse 10. Go ahead.
It says, thou shalt therefore keep his Slaki. It says, thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in this season from year to year.
And you have to keep the Passover in its season, year to year, right? So I know we got congregations who don't, necessarily have their Passover at the same time as us. That's fine. But as long as you are keeping it in its season, like there should be no reason for any congregation to keep the Passover in June. That's not the season of the Passover. June is not the season of the Passover. October is not the season of the Passover. You have to keep the feast in its proper season. So what is it proper season, right? Zechariah, you got that Deuteronomy?
Con.
Yeah, go ahead, read that for me.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
So the Passover is in the first month, and this first month is what they called Abib, right? So first, let's go into it. Let's look at what they have for Abib here, and then I'm gonna read a extra source that I have with me here. So Abib, right? Fresh young barley ears. That's what the word means. It's a month of ear forming, of greening of crop, of growing green Abib, month of Exodus and Passover, March or April. That's the season. The season of Passover is between the months of March and April. That's one witness, right? Now I got another one. I don't bring this out as often as I should be, right? But it's the compact Bible, right? A lot of y'all know, especially if you're new in the faith, you got this book, right? So let's see what this book says on page, I believe 20. Let's see. 13. On page 13, it reads Abib, an ear of corn, which is what the blue letter also corroborates. It says the pre-exilic name for the first month of the year. Exodus 13, verse 4, Exodus 23 and 15, Exodus 34 and 18. After the exile, the name was changed to Nisan, and that was in Babylon. It fell about the time of our March and early April. So that's the season. If you want to observe the Passover, the season of the Passover is between the months of March and April, right? It doesn't matter if I keep mine on March the 5th, you know what I'm saying? A brother is not necessarily wrong for keeping his April the 5th. You know what I'm saying? And why is that? Why is that? Why is it that we don't necessarily have to 100% be on point? Why? Because we're rehearsing the righteous acts, right? Somebody give me Judges 5 and 11.
Judges 5 verse 11. It says, "They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates."
And this is what we do, man. Right? We want to be delivered from the noise of the archer. We want to be delivered from the missiles, man. Out of a place of drawing waters, man. We want to be delivered from captivity. And how do we do that? We have to rehearse the righteous acts. So you can't fault a brother that is rehearsing the righteous act. You can't fault him if his Passover is a couple weeks after yours. That ain't the point of it. The point of it is that he is rehearsing righteous acts unto the Lord Yahweh, man. Right? Zechariah, you had something?
I was looking something up because I think we had a conversation about this, that Yahushua and the disciples, they kept the Passover, and then you read about how the Jews was going to keep it the day after, but I was trying to make sure that was right.
Mm-hmm.
I got a precept.
Yeah, what you got up?
Colossians 2 and 16.
Yeah, I was about to get that next.
Go
ahead, bring it up.
It says, Colossians 2 and 16 says, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days."
Hey, and that's the thing, man, because we're all learning, right? We're all learning. Majority of Israelites now, man, they didn't grow up in this. They didn't grow up keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And even if they did, right, we did not get the 100% pure doctrine that was given on Mount Sinai. We just didn't. Too many things have happened in history. So we not all are going to be on the same page, especially when it comes to dates. Especially when it comes to dates, man. That's why the Bible says, hey, let you observe it in its season. As long as the brother is keeping it in his season, hey, man, he is rehearsing those righteous acts.
I got a precept.
Con, what you got?
The book of Sirach, chapter 8 and verse 5.
Yeah, just
It
read it.
says, reproach not a man that turneth from sin, but remember that we all are worthy of punishment. So going into the what the brother is saying, just because a brother might keep his in March and some other cats might keep theirs in April, even you rehearsing these righteous acts, that's you returning away from sin. And the Bible tells you not to reproach a man that's turning away from sin, because there was a time when none of us was keeping Passover. So the simple fact that a brother is keeping Passover and whatever in the due season that he believed the Passover falls in on within the month of Abib, don't reproach that man, because at least he's rehearsing the righteous acts.
Gone. Exactly. Right. So we know a little bit of the history of the Passover. We know how to keep the Passover. Right now, we're gonna tackle because a common scoff from Christians, Christian Israelites, right, is that you can't keep the feast days outside of the land, right? Which would include the Passover. That's some people's excuses why they don't keep the Passover, right? So let's look at this. Azan, if you can read Numbers 9 and 15 for me.
Numbers 9 and 5 or 15.
Salaki, Numbers 9, chapter 9, verse 5.
This is Numbers 9 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at even in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So did the children of Israel.
And this is the second Passover. They kept it in the wilderness. They kept it in Sinai. They weren't in the land yet. And yet they kept the Passover. Well, wait, Dawala, that's before they even crossed the Jordan. That's before they even went in the land. Okay. Well, what about the disciples? Did all the disciples keep the Passover in Israel? No. Let's see that, right? Azan, you give me Acts 20 and 6, Baba Kasha.
Okay.
Right. Let's see if these apostles kept the Passover in Israel, right? Matter of fact, read to get a little bit of context. Read verse 1 and start from verse 1 and drop to verse 6.
This is Acts 20 and 1. And after the uproar was ceased, Paul called unto him the disciples and embraced him and departed for to go into Macedonia.
Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, right here is Paul, right? And he departed to go into where? Into Macedonia. Remember that, right? Now jump to verse 6.
Verse 6, it says, and we sailed away from Philippi after the days of unleavened bread, and came unto them to Troas in 5 days, where we abode 7 days.
So it says we sailed away from Philippi after the days of unleavened bread. So that means they were in Philippi. Philippi is a province that's in Macedonia. And it says here, they celebrated the Feast of Unleavened Bread. They were not in the land of Israel. And yet they still celebrated the feast. What do we say to that? Right? And this is after the death of Christ. And we're seeing people still observing the Passover after the death of Christ. So this whole thing of, Christ is my Passover now, I don't got to keep the Passover. You are incorrect. Because here we see the apostles, specifically Paul. And this isn't the first time that you see Paul keeping the Passover. You see Paul, who is the Messiah for a lot of Christians, he's even keeping the Passover, man. So back to the question of the title of this video, why don't you? Christ kept the Passover. Paul kept the Passover. The apostles kept the Passover. Why aren't you keeping the Passover, man? All right. Somebody give me if y'all had anything. I don't know if y'all had anything. Y'all got something? No. Con. Give me John 2. Right.
It's like, I'm gonna jump off because I gotta head to the plantation.
For sure. Shalom, ma.
Y'all hold it down though.
Con. Our brother got to go back to the slavery, man. Because we in captivity. Yeah, that's why we talking about the Passover.
But
yeah, what's up?
I'm gonna hit you up because I'm trying to get my schedule changed. So I'm gonna hit you up.
Okay, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, we can do that. But hey, this is why we gotta observe the Passover, man, because we want the Most High to take us away from this captivity. Our brother got to jump off the live, right, edifying the sheep because he got to go work for the devil. That's captivity. That's captivity. This is why we have to keep this Passover so that we can get to the second Passover, man. So that we can get to this second Exodus, so we can lead this place. It don't make no sense, man. It's almost 8 o'clock here, and our brother got to go to work. He got to go work for the white man. He got to go work for them just to give his money right back to them. Come on, man. Come on. This is why we need the Most High to save us from this captivity as he did back in Egypt. But back to the lesson, man, right? So we seen Paul and the apostles keeping the Passover. Now, what about Christ? Christ kept the Passover. Azan, read verse 13 for me.
St. John 2, verse 13. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem.
Hey, he went up to Jerusalem. He went up to the Passover to keep the Passover and to teach. Why? Because remember, the first and the last day is what? A holy convocation. So let's jump down to verse 23.
It says, verse 23, it says, now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover and the feast day, many believed in his name when they saw the miracles which he did.
Hey, they believed on his name, and he's at the Passover. He's keeping the Passover, man. Shoot, the whole Last Supper is the Passover, which we're going to touch on later. But the whole point is that Christ kept this feast day. He kept this high holy day, and we're supposed to walk as he walked. So why aren't we? Why aren't we? If you are a Black, Hispanic, or Native American, and you're not walking as Christ walked, if you're not keeping the Passover, you're not a true Christian. Because a true Christian, a true follower of Christ, they are going to keep the Passover, man. That's just what they're going to do. I was looking for something. I don't know if you had anything, Azan.
Was we you was gonna get Leviticus 23 at the next topic or the next installment?
Nah, I mean we still can. I was looking for. I might just drop it because I've been mentioning it a lot. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop this. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop it. But yeah, so the whole point. We're gonna. You want to get Leviticus 23?
Nah, we don't got to.
No? Okay, con. But the whole point of this is just we're seeing Christ keep this Passover. We're seeing the apostles keep the Passover, right? And we have to keep the Passover now because we are rehearsing those righteous acts, like we read about in Judges 5 and 11. And part of those righteous acts is keeping this Passover, right? Give me Titus 2 and 12 of Zion.
Okay.
So that we can just prove why we have to observe this high holy day, right? Go ahead, read that.
This is the book of Titus 2, verse 12, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. So in this present world, one of the things that we have to live by is righteously. How do you live righteously? What is our righteousness, right? So give me Deuteronomy 6 and 25, and then just go ahead and give me this one. We're gonna go to Psalms after this. Right? What is righteousness? How do we live a righteous lifestyle? The Bible tells us, the law specifically tells us. Go ahead, read that. This is Deuteronomy 6 and 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. Hey, so it's our righteousness when we observe all these commandments. What's a commandment? Oh, keeping the Passover, eating unleavened bread for 7 days, right? That is a commandment that we have to keep. That is how we live righteously. That is how we rehearse the righteous acts, right? Azan, give me Psalms 119 and 127.
Yeah, give me that.
This is Psalms 119, verse 127. Therefore, I love thy commandments above gold, yeah, above fine gold.
That's not it. It's 172. Salakia.
That was not too
Salakia.
low.
That was good too, though.
God.
Yeah, you see the spirit. This one I want. 119 and 172.
Con.
Salakia.
Psalm 119, verse 172. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness.
All the commandments of God are righteousness. So if I want to live a righteous lifestyle, if I want to rehearse the righteous acts, guess what I got to do, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, keep the commandments of God. And what's part of the commandments of God? Observing the Passover, right? On the 14th day in the first month. Eating unleavened bread for 7 days after that. Being circumcised when you eat that, right? Eating it with bitter herbs, eating it with haste. That is how we live a righteous lifestyle. That's how we walk after the manner of Christ, right? So now that we know what it is, we know the history, we know why do we have to keep it, right? Now we're going to touch on what you have to do when keeping it, or where your mindset is supposed to be when you keep this feast. So Zion, give me 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Start at verse 6. Well, start at verse 7.
This is 1 Corinthians 5, verse 7. It says, purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
So you got to purge out that old leaven, man. When Passover time comes, you have to do some serious self-reflecting. You have to, everything that is wicked inside of you, everything that is contrary to the laws of God inside of you, you have to put that off, man. You have to put that leaven away from you. And you have to renew yourself every year, really every day. But when it comes to the time of the Passover, even more so. The Passover is the time where you do a complete, total self-reflection of yourself, of your life, of your walk in this truth. That is what you have to do so you can purge out the old leaven that's been building up inside you. Keep reading.
It says, verse 8, therefore, let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
So you have to be sincere. When you partake in the Lord's Passover, you have to be sincere. You can't be eating it just because, oh, it's a fad, or oh, I found out I was a Hebrew Israelite, so now I have to do this feast, even though I don't care about this feast. No, you have to eat this feast, this unleavened bread, this Passover lamb with sincerity and truth, man. You cannot eat it with malice and wickedness. What is malice? Wickedness is self-explanatory, but let's look at malice, because it's important, because it's something that we can't have when we eat this Passover. All right. Let's see, malice. Look at this: evil, wickedness, depravity, wickedness that is not ashamed to break laws. What do we do with that, right? Badness. Come on, man. Naughtiness. What in the Bible could land you as being naughty? Oh, not listening to God. Right? Look at this. This is the lexicon, wickedness or depravity is 1 Corinthians 5 and 8, right? The verse that we're on. Look at the definition. Just to confirm that it is what it is.
Let's go.
Look at this. Wickedness that is not ashamed to break the laws. What laws? The laws of God. So when you eat this feast, man, it says, hey, without any malice, meaning you cannot have the notion of I can just break the laws of God. You cannot have that. Meaning what? You can't sit up here and eat the Lord's Passover thinking you can eat pork. You can't sit up here and eat the Lord's Passover thinking you can smoke weed. right? Ooh, I got another one that's gonna step on some toes. Man, you ain't even supposed to be eating that Passover if you don't believe a man can have multiple wives. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I
Bring
said
that
it.
out.
Hey, we just lost some views, Azan. We just lost some views. Comments blowing up. Comments blowing up, man. But
Bring it
the
out.
Bible say what it say, right? It say what it say. What of malice is wickedness that is not ashamed to break the laws. If you're a woman and you ain't listening to your husband, guess what? You're in violation of breaking the laws. You need to fix that before you eat that lamb. If you a man that's doing, some secret sins, you need to fix that before you eat this lamb, man. Because all of that is going into malice. And you cannot partake in the Lord's Passover and you got malice and wickedness in your heart, man. You can't do that, right? And we're gonna double down. We're gonna get some more scriptures on that. Azan, give me 1 Corinthians 11 and start at verse 20.
God. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 20. When
Mhm.
ye come together, therefore, into one place, this is not to eat the Lord's Supper.
Keep on.
It says, for in eating everyone taketh before other his own supper. Did I read that right? Slide, I'll read it again. It says, for in eating everyone taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry and another is drunken.
Hey, listen, don't come to the Passover with the notion of, yeah, I'm coming to get some food. Yeah, I'm coming to drink the wine. Yeah, I'm coming to tee up. No, man, this is a solemn assembly. Solemn meaning what? It's serious. It's serious because we're remembering when the Most High saved us out of our captivity, man. He saved us out of a gruesome captivity. We're remembering that. On a deeper level, hey man, we're commemorating Christ, which again that's for next class, right? But the whole point is this feast is not something, it's not a tee up or a kickback, anything like that. No, when you are at the Lord's Passover, man, hey, you have to be serious. This is not a buffet, right? This is not Golden Corral, Golden Chick-fil-A. This is not none of that. This is the Lord's Passover, man. Right? Keep reading.
God. It says, verse 22, what? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in? Or despise ye the church of God, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not.
Hey, listen, man. Paul is on them right now, man. He's saying, what, you ain't got no food at your house? You ain't got that good drink at your house? What you coming up here to the Lord's Passover for, to eat the Lord's Supper for, and all you worried about is eating and drinking. You trying to get drunk, man. You trying to tee up, man. That's not what this Passover is for. You got to check yourself before you eat that lamb, right? Azan, jump down to verse 27.
Come. Verse 27, it says, wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord.
Hey, man, you're guilty of Christ's death when you eat that Passover unworthy. You're guilty of putting him up on that cross, man, when you eat the Passover lamb unworthily. That's why it's such a serious offense. That's why you can't eat it with malice in your heart, with wickedness in your heart, when you have no shame to break the laws of God. When a person like that eats that lamb, you're spitting in the face of Yahweh Shah. You're guilty of the same blood and the same body that those who hung him there are, man. Because you eating this unworthy. That's why it's such a crucial thing, man. I don't even tell my family about the Passover. Like, I don't talk about the Passover like that with my family because I can't just invite them to this feast because they cannot eat this lamb unworthily. I'll tell them about tabernacles and dedication and trumpets, but when it comes to this right here, no, we got to have a serious conversation because you can't just be willfully breaking the laws of God and you're trying to eat his Passover. It don't work like that. It don't work like that, right? And when we keep reading, it's going to tell you why. Keep reading out.
It says, verse 28, but let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup.
Which is why I said, man, you have to examine yourself before you eat this lamb. We're entering into the season of Passover. It's examination time. Where am I in this walk with the Most High? Where's my faith at? Right? Where are the areas where I'm lacking in? Where are the areas that I can improve in? How can I help the body even more so? Am I doing anything that's a disservice to the body? If I am, how do I correct that? Is my wife doing a service to the body? No? Okay, I need to correct that. Me being the man of my house, right? These are the things that you have to ask yourself. Is my children following the laws of God? Right? Do my children know about the Passover? Do my children know about Yahweh Shah? And if they don't, that's a reflection of you, brother. That's why it says, let a man examine himself. This is the time, this is the best time of the year, because this is the time of year for improvement. This is the time of the year, you know, everybody say, oh, my goals and my New Year's revolution, yada, yada. Man, cut that, right? It's Passover time. You examine yourself and you figure out the steps that you have to do to better yourself in this movement, man, to be a better laborer for Christ. So you can go out and feed the sheep as he told us to do. This is why this is an important time of the year. And when you throw this behind you and say, we don't got to keep the Passover no more, guess what? You're no longer examining yourself. You're no longer making sure you got malice and wickedness away from you. Every year at the Passover, it should be a 100% clean slate for you. You should go forward from that point on with a whole different mindset, because you know what you need to do, because you examine yourself. But that person that don't do that because he drinks it unworthily, hey, listen, you got damnation upon yourself. You got destruction upon yourself. It is not always the Most High taking your life. The Most High could just put you in a bad situation. He could put you to where, hey, man, you ain't got no bread, rent due, kids is hungry. He can give you a fate worse than death, man. Right? Read the next verse out.
Come. It says, verse 29, for he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body.
You eat, hey, listen, bro, you bringing damnation on yourself. What the Bible says, you bring damnation upon yourself. Why? Hey, you know, spoiler alert, but that lamb represents Yahweh Shah, man. So if you partake in Yahweh Shah unworthily, when you still have wickedness and malice in your heart, you deserve damnation, man. You deserve that. Can you read this last verse?
It says, verse 30, for this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep.
And that's why you have these problems. That's why I said the Most High don't gotta always kill you. Hey, man, he can make you weak to where you can barely walk. He can make you weak to where you can't even pick up your little boy, your little baby no more. He can make you sickly to where you're bedridden for years. He can give you cancer. Man, listen, he can do a whole bunch, man. He can mess you up because you ate this feast unworthily. That's why Paul ends this chapter with this. And I read it. It says, if any man hunger, let him eat at home. that you come not together unto condemnation, and the rest will I set in order when I come. So if you are not examining yourself, if you're not fully putting off wickedness and adhering to the laws of God, Paul says you need to eat at home. He said, don't even come to the supper. Don't even come to the Passover, because all you're going to do is bring condemnation upon yourself. It's a serious offense, man. It's a very, very serious offense. And that's why we have to come and we have to explain these things to you brothers and sisters, right? Because there's always a new sheep that's coming into the fold. Somebody don't know this. Some of the people watching, y'all know all this, right? But to those who don't, and even those who do, sometimes you need a refresher. Sometimes you need that refresher. But this is how we observe the Passover. We know what it is, right? The Most High sending that last plague on Egypt, killing the firstborn of everything, killed them sneaking Hamites, and then he rescued us and delivered us out. We know how to keep it. We got to eat lamb on the 14th day of the first month. We got to eat it with bitter herbs. Men have to be circumcised, right? You got a holy convocation on the first and the last day. No work shall be done, right? And you have to rehearse those righteous acts. That's what you have to do, right? Let me get two more, and then we're going to be out. Zan, give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 16. Right? Because we say you have to rehearse these righteous acts. And because of where we are in captivity, there's gonna be things that we cannot do 100% right, such as getting the lamb without spot or blemish. Unless you are raising that lamb yourself, you have no clue you have no clue, you have no control over the lamb that you get. Right? We're not in the land. Some brothers might have certain situations going on to where they can't even observe it. Them things you don't need to destroy yourself or bring yourself low because now you thinking, oh man, we didn't get a lamb without spot. The Passover don't even count no more. You being over righteous, brother. You being way, way, way too much over righteous when the whole point is you being obedient unto God. You rehearsing these righteous acts so that you can show your faith and show your love to the Father. That's the point, not the nitty gritties, man. You could thank Christ for that. That's the true purpose of Christ. The true purpose of Christ wasn't to say, hey guys, the Passover is no more. The true purpose of Christ was to say, hey, listen, even though you didn't do the Passover 100% right to the T according to the law, you still attempted it. And I rock with you for that. I'm going to put in a good word to my Father with you. That was the purpose of Christ, man. So read Ecclesiastes 7 and 16.
Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself?
Why destroy yourself, man? Why destroy yourself? Because you looking at every single details of the Passover and you can't even adhere to it. Why? Your focus needs to be, let me to the best with all my heart and all my soul. That's what you got to use now. Because I tell you, boy, scoffers are tricky. Scoffers, they'll take every where's to the best of your ability at in the Bible. Okay. Let me rephrase that. With all your heart and all your might, like Christ said, you need to keep this feast, man. That's what you need to do. Right? Let me get one last one. Zion, give me one of my favorite chapters in the Bible, Hebrews 11 and verse 23. Because this is the whole point of keeping it. The whole point of keeping it. Oh man, did I just go? Can you hear me, Azan?
I can hear.
Okay, I think my computer just froze. Okay. Well, if you can still hear me, go ahead and read verse 23. I just might not have it on the screen.
Yeah, it's pulled up. So Hebrews 11 and 23, it says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child and they were not afraid of the king's commandment.
Right. So the whole point of this thing, man, is your faith to the Most High. Just like Moses's parents with verse 23, they had faith, man. They had faith enough to hide Moses away and to know he was going to be okay. They put him in a river, man. How much faith you got to have in the Most High to put your infant son in a river and you trust everything's going to be okay? In like fashion, man, this is why we have to adhere to the Passover. We got to have that faith, man. Keep reading.
It says, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of the Pharaoh's daughter.
Keep reading.
I was reading from the screen.
Yeah, man. My stuff.
I'll get it real quick. Verse 26.
Oh yeah, 25.
25. Okay,
just start back from 24.
Hebrews 11 and verse 24. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
And that's what we got to do, man. We got to be like Moses. We can't sit up here and enjoy the pleasures of sin any longer. We can't do that. We can't sit up here and choose to be called the son of Pharaoh, man. We can't be like these nations in America. We can't say, oh well, hey, nobody else is keeping the Passover, so I'm not gonna keep the Passover. Oh well, shoot, my people keep Lent. I'm gonna keep Lent. No, man, we gotta be like Moses. We gotta be like Moses and refuse to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. We gotta refuse this society, man. We have to. And Moses did all that by what? Through his faith. Because he believed in similar fashions. You have to take that malice out your heart. You have to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of God and keep his feast. Keep the Passover, man. Keep going.
Come. It says, verse 28, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward.
Come on. Keep going.
By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible.
And that's what we got to do, right? We cannot have the wrath or be afraid of the wrath of the principalities that's here now. We can't be afraid of Pharaoh, man. We can't be afraid of the devil, man. Y'all know who I'm talking about. We can't be afraid of them, especially when it comes to our heritage and his law. You can't be afraid to observe the Passover because of somebody that don't even look like you. Hell, even the people that do look like you, your own family, you can't be afraid to not keep the Lord's Passover because of them. You have to be strong like our forefathers, like our forefather Moses. You got to have that faith, man. You got to have that faith, just like Moses. It says by faith, man, he forsook Egypt. He forsook Egypt. And in the same way, you have to forsake the modern day Egypt. You got to forsake this place. You got to forsake this place and come back to the Father. Keep reading.
Come. It says, verse 28. It's like it. Verse 20. Where was we at?
You was
20,
at 28.
28. Yeah. It says,
Mhm.
Hebrews 11:28. Through faith he kept the Passover and sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them.
Hey, it says through faith he kept the Passover, man. And that's what we got to do today. We have to keep the Passover by our faith, just like Moses did. Remember, that was the first time they ever did anything like that. And yet, by his faith of not just Moses, but the other Israelites, they saw it through. They did exactly what the Most High said, down to putting the blood on the doorpost. That was his faith. So now you have to take your faith and you have to apply it to this exact same feast. And you have to keep it. Why? Because that is what you believe in the Most High. The Most High said, keep this for a statute of your generations forever. And if you truly got faith in the Most High, you're going to observe that feast because he told you to do so. Right? Give me that last verse 29. Now I got to figure out a way how to end this. All right, go ahead.
Oh, come. This is Hebrews 11, verse 29. It says, by faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians, essaying to do, were drowned.
Hey, and all that was through faith, man. Through faith, them Hamites died. All praises to the Most High, right? And it was through faith why we got rescued out of Egypt, right? So, yeah, man, that was the lesson. I don't know, Zon, do you have anything you want to add or you want to say?
I was gonna get that. I mean, we kind of passed over that point, but I could just roughly paraphrase. This is short scripture anyway. But in Galatians 5:9, it says a little leaven.
Go ahead.
Galatians 5:9, it says a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So just like the brother's bringing out, we want to make sure that we examine ourselves and purge out that leaven. So by the time the Passover comes, and a month from now, that we be a new man. We got that clean slate. We could grow closer to the Most High. But that was it.
Come on. Con up. Hey, do you have power to end the live?
I could just I could leave, but I'm gonna have to probably sign in through your I guess through the whichever email you use to go into the StreamYard.
Yeah, because I can't do too much on my computer here. I tried to log in, but
You should be able to do
no,
it
it's
from your
not.
phone.
Well, I'm on my phone. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna have to just shut the computer down and just pray that that is saved, right? So yeah,
Con.
that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna close it and hopefully it just saved, right? So hey man, with that, I hope you guys were edified, man. I hope you understood about the Passover a little bit more. And hey, we're just gonna continue with the series, right? So I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashak Yahweh Shah, and I say Shalom.
Shalom.